welcome to a brand new episode here on 1950's Farm. So, as you can see, we're out in the field with the pretend John Deere. As I explained in the previous video, this was as close as I could get to the John Deere model that the dairy had back in the day, but this is a Fiat Chalice, I think it is. But yeah, we're out in the field on the crawler drilling some wheat. I've had to put my coat on this morning. It's a bit nippy out. 21 degrees, not too bad, but it was a bit cold first thing when we started. We started this field at about, I can't remember, 6, 7 o'clock in the morning. I actually started work at about 5, about half 4, 5 in the morning, because on our farm I finished the bales, so as you can see I've baled the field. I did that first thing this morning. Doesn't talk of any rain as far as I have sort of seen, but yeah, thought I'd get that out of the way, so I did that early. These guys that are in the field with me as well, they started early as well, so that's has been really helpful because it has got them ahead, which means I can just go normal speed. I can just go normal speed, and then they can just sort of do what they need to do, and because there's two of them, they're basically doing, I think they're doing 6 meter breeds, because they're both 3 meters. Yeah, so they're both 3 meter wide implements, and I think this is 3 as well. It's either 2.5 or 3. So yeah, we're going along quite nicely. That to the right of me, those weeds, something happened on the game that I've not encountered before. So I started drilling, as I say, fairly early this morning, or they started cultivating fairly early this morning. The cultivated texture that was left was what you can see, that dark brown. I've drilled it, but after I drilled it, the weeds came through, but no crop has come through as I can see. But yeah, the weeds came through, so but only on that bit. Didn't come, the rest of it is a normal sort of cultivated texture, and no weeds have come through the rest of it, so I'm not really sure why that's happened over there, but that's why that is the way it is, just in case you sort of go, hang on a minute, how come you've got sort of a dark brown texture and weeds one side and the rest of it looks like a sort of freshly drilled field? The answer is, I don't know why the game did it, but that's what's happened. So it's just the way it is, unfortunately, and it's happened because I drilled the headlands, and it's happened all the way around the headland of the field. So basically, because I did, I can't remember if it was 4 or 6 breeds around the headland, and as I say, for whatever reason, that's what it's done around the headlands. I don't know why it's done that, but yeah. So as you can see, we've got the Ford N series to our right there, with some seed bags in the field, ready to keep us going, which is always good, because I must admit the first couple of breeds I was doing, or the first couple of tanks that I was doing, I was actually going back to the farm to fill up, and I thought, well, hang on a minute, I could just take the forklift and some seed bags to the field and it would save me time. But yeah, the other problem that I'm encountering, I don't know if you can tell on camera, on your screens, it is really difficult to see the difference between the cultivated texture and the drilled texture. So it's possible when this grows, I'm going to have missed quite a lot. As far as I can tell, I'm in line. But that doesn't mean a great deal. Like I say, it is really, really hard to see the line. I mean, there is ever such a faint line there, as well, if I can sort of kind of see it correctly. Missed a bit there, missed a bit over there. I've just seen. Probably I should have had the camera a little bit higher because I can actually see where I'm missing tiny bits now. Never mind. It's all the fun of the fair. Of course, it isn't too many more years' time. I think it's 52. I think John Deere released their first 5 metre seed drill, again to go on the back of the crawler, again almost to kind of prove that tracks was the way to go in terms of traction, in terms of pulling power, in terms of, sort of the amount that, that their work efficiency, basically, the amount they could do as opposed to a tractor. That would change again. So by the time the sort of 60s and 70s come round, it was almost like wheel tractors fought back and said, well, actually, no, we're just as capable of doing, the same amount of work. And then that sort of became the era of the wheel tractor again. But then by sort of the mid to late 90s, tracks were coming back. Caterpillar were now sort of producing agricultural machines far more seriously. Class got on board by getting Cat to build, their Class Challenger. In return, Caterpillar. In return, sorry, Class built Cat their combines. And that was kind of how that all kind of got going. But in the sort of what we're coming up to, we're still early 50s really, but coming into the mid 50s, crawlers were taking over. Yes, there was still a need for wheel tractors. Yes, I mean, the one disadvantage to the crawler is that it does make a hell of a mess on the ends of the fields when it turns around. I mean, that was one reason I think why in the 70s maybe farmers started to not necessarily turn their back on them, because I think they were still used as the main sort of ploughing tractor, because in the wet they could just keep going, whereas wheel tractors would begin to struggle in the wet. I mean, that's changed back again. I mean, I've said before, the farm that I worked at, the second farm that I worked on, the big one, I had a Challenger. I had an MT765, usually for like cultivating and power harrowing and stuff like that. But I also had an MT 875, sorry, that I used with the 9 metre vertistat, and I would do because I had two ploughs as well, because some of the fields that they had were in the middle of housing estates. Now I'm a big Challenger and my 14 for a Lemkin. I couldn't because of the parked cars and everything on the sides of the road and the tightness of the sort of roads there, I couldn't get them down the housing estate field. So I had two tractors and two ploughs. I had an 8 for a mounted offset plough on my MT765, and that's what I would go to, what I essentially called non-accessible fields or tight fields, that I sort of, it wasn't really convenient to try and get my big Challenger down there. But I had those two Challengers. Now as soon as that came wet, then the farm had 2 or 3 big wheel tractors. One of them was a Vent 1050, which I never got to drive that. To be fair, it was always there for me to drive, but I prefer John Deere, and so I always used the 8345R John Deere, and that was again with my reversible Lemkin offset mounted plough. Obviously it was reversible, I meant mounted offset plough. Just because in the wet the tracks couldn't grip the top of the the top of the ground. They would fall in, they'd slide into the furrows. Whereas the wheeled tractor didn't. We did have a couple of Vervelen reversible ploughs as well, mounted. And they were used for in the furrow if it became a bit like the sort of year that, or back end of last year and the start of this year that we've had. If we had ploughing that needed to be done, that would have been what I would have used just to run in the furrows, just so that we could keep going. But I think even this year it got too wet even for that, so I don't think it would have made any difference this year and the back end of last year. So, but yeah, as I say, tracks in the 50s were starting to really sort of take hold by the mid to late 50s. They were everywhere. Most farms probably had one or two. I'm not going to say most farms because I don't know, but according to me, old timer friend that I talk to and get advice for this series on, he said that certainly here in the UK, by the time the sort of late 50s, 60s came, the farm that he worked on had two. They had two, and they would just be able to carry on sort of when wheeled tractors couldn't. Because I'm guessing, and I don't know for sure, I'd have to ask him, but I'm guessing wheeled tractors back in the 1950s didn't have diff locks and stuff like that. I may be wrong. That's something I'll either have to ask him or look up. But yeah, doing some drilling, it doesn't half remind me of some of the cock-ups in my time that I've done. The very first time I drilled, I got to the farm, and the boss. So basically, on the first farm that I worked on, there was two of us. There was me and John, and then the boss, and that was like the three of us. And then we had one guy, Ray, who used to come in and just help out if we were busy. He was, I don't know, he was about 80. He's still alive today. He's I think he's over 100 now. He's still alive today, and he still works on the land. Just, I see him just before Christmas, and honestly, he looks as well today as he did back then, and it just proves that hard work never did kill anyone. I think hard work and him, he not only worked full time back in the day for the farm that he still works for now, it just helps out when they're busy. He also had his own small holding, and he also had another farm down the road from where he lived that he used to help out in the evenings. And I used to say to him, Ray, why do you work so much? And he goes, oh, because of her indoors, all she does is nag. So I said, I just go to work. And I always smiled and was quite amused by that one. But so I'd got to work that day, and John, we were drilling. It was the spring, and we were drilling beans. And John, who was the drillman and the combine driver and different things, and I did the ploughing and spraying and sort of corn carting and sort of that sort of job. But as I say, he was the drillman, and it was a Monday, and we started work at 7, and got it to work, and I went into the workshop, and Anthony was my boss, was in there, and he said, "Morning." I said, "Yep." He said, "Not like John to be late." I said, "No." I said, "Like, I must admit," I said, "I pulled in like 2 minutes past 7." I said, "Like, sort of surprised he weren't here, you know." He said, "Yeah." He said, "It's unlike John." Anyway, got to about 9 o'clock, still no John. So he said, "I'll give him a ring." So I was like, "Okay." So I was out in the fields at this point. I was powering because we assumed that he was coming, and I thought, well, I could clear some land, before he got there, and then he wouldn't catch me up, sort of thing. And the weather was set fair for sort of the next few days or whatever. So it made sense for me to try and get in front. So I'm out on my track. Anyway, he rings me up and he says, "James," said, "I've rung John." He said, "Like, he's not answering. Have you rung him?" So I said, "Yeah." I said, "It just rings. It just like rings out." He said, "Yeah, that's all it does with me." So anyway, got to lunchtime. I went back to the farm for my lunch, and Anthony came in and he said, "Well, I'm gonna have to do the drilling this afternoon." So I said, "Well, I could do the drilling," and I said, like, you know, it's not. I've never, because I'd never done it at that point, but I said, it's not that hard, really. I said, like, just a case of following the marker, really. And he was like, "Well, if you think you can do it." I said, "Yeah." He said, "Tell you what then." He said, "Today, clear all the land. Tomorrow you can drill it all." So I said, "All right then." So that's what I did. Next day went in. So he goes, "I've sorted the drill out for you." So I said, "Okay." He said, "And he said, "It is pretty much set up anyway." He said, "I've calibrated it just to make sure that everything's still as it should be." So I said, "Okay." So he said, "I've done all that." He said, he said, "I might as well have done it all, before you got here." He said, "Because I'm going out today. Me and Dad are going out today." So I said, "Okay." So he said, I can't remember where they went. And he said, "I won't be here all day." So I said, "Okay." So he said, "You just either have to get on." He said, "And if you can't do it for whatever reason, or you get stuck, or, like you just sort of, can't do no more," he said, "just get back on your tractor and just clear some more land." He said, "It's going to stay dry, for the next few days." He said, I still haven't been able to get in touch with John." Well, on that, John rang and said, "Oh, hello, Anthony. Sorry, I've just realised I didn't ring you. I decided on Sunday that we'd go to Portugal for 2 weeks, me and the missus." And Anthony was like, "Oh yeah, okay, no problems." And like, sort of hang up, and he goes, "He's gone to fucking Portugal." And I said, "Oh," I said, "it was good of him to let you know." I said to him, I said, "Is he in trouble?" He went, "No." He goes, "The thing with Johnny is," he said, "like, we just let him do it." He said, like, "Because otherwise," he said, it becomes not a very nice place to work if you upset him." And I was like, "But you're the boss." And he goes, "Yeah." He goes, "Anyway, leave it." He said, "Anyway, you get on. You know what you're doing." So I goes out, gets on the forklift, gets the seed bags, and empties the seed bags into the hopper. We had a Verdestat. We had a 4 meter Verdestat. And emptied the seed into the hopper. Got down, went and got another bag of seeds, because it used to hold. We had an extended tank on it, and it used to hold 3 ton, and you used to fill it up with 3 ton, and then you could just work all day. You didn't need to go back and fill it up. And as I say, when I came back out of the shed where we kept the seeds, to put the next sort of bag, or I think bag and a half, I think it was, in the hopper, all the seeds was on the floor. What I didn't realise was that when he'd calibrated it, he hadn't closed the tray, the seed tray at the bottom. Where you let some of the seed out, and because he'd left the sort of, well, as I called it, the trapdoor. He'd left the trapdoor wide open, and it was just pouring seed. As I was putting them in, it was pouring them out the bottom. So I spent about 2 hours trying to clear all that up, because I couldn't work out where the bloody trapdoor was. And then when I found it, I didn't have nothing to shut it with, because you needed we had a Verdestat key for it, which was like a nut thing. and it took me ages to figure it. Anyway, I managed to get it all cleared up, and then managed to sort of go off drilling. Yeah, it was funny. Oh dear. Anyway, I've probably bored you for far too long. If anyone is still watching after I've just gone on there, but it's sometimes I do jobs on Farming Simulator, and it makes me think of things I did in real life, and I just sort of think maybe people would be interested. I don't know. You'll have to let me know in the comments. But if you want to hear more stories, or if you just want me to keep the format the same, because I've got hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of stories to tell you, not only about farming, about loads of stuff. If as I say, if you're interested in sort of hearing what goes on in my chaotic life and very sort of mishappy type life as well, it's just let me know in the comments, and I'll be more than happy to share the stories with you. Or if you just like the format the way it is, where I'd sort of do the intro, and then we switch over to some music, and then we sort of meet at the end. If you prefer that, let me know, and that's what I'll do. Anyway, I will switch over to some music, and then we'll meet again towards the end of the video. Bye for now. And I'm back. How are we all doing? As you can see, we've done a bit more, and we're slowly making our way across the field. We've nearly got across now to my field or our field, or whatever. And yeah, we're slowly getting there. That brown line is obviously where we've sort of drilled up to. And those weeds, I don't know why that's done that. I also noticed as well that on the left of me, down at the far end where the muck heap is, some of the wheat had come through there. So I don't know what happened the last time, when I started this at sort of 6 o'clock game time morning. It's now 1 o'clock in the past one, sort of getting on for 20 to 2 in the afternoon, and we've not even halfway through the field yet. And as I say, I started drilling this field this morning at, I think it was about 6 o'clock, 7 o'clock, something like that. I can't remember actually, it was so long ago. But yeah, so as I also said this at the beginning of the episode, I also did do my baling as well this morning, so I managed to get that done and dusted. As far as I know, it doesn't talk of any rain. Certainly not today, and I'm sure it doesn't tomorrow as well, which is really, really good, because one thing I forgot to mention at the beginning of the episode was I fed the animals this morning and just made sure they were okay, and I've realised I may have made a bit of a boo-boo. Because I finished feeding the animals. I thought I had loads of hay. I thought hay and straw, we're good till next year, No. Turns out we've got 6 bales of hay left. And only today and tomorrow to cut any more. We will need that down, James. We haven't gone far enough, son. There we go. Yeah, it turns out I've only got 6 bales, and 6 bales is not going to be enough to get us through the winter. To be fair, it's not even going to be enough to get us to the new year. So we now desperately need to start thinking about cutting some hay too. Do you know what? This really is impossible to see. There's no wonder I'm missing bits, because I can see it now. I think it was because we was in the shadows. But yeah, so we need to get the hay cut as well. So I'm really hoping that today, computer day wise, or game day wise, I'm going to get this field drilled. As you can see just to the left of me there, I don't know if you noticed it, I've got the farm all on the rolls, which is also helping to sort of move us along a little bit, because as I've said, I've come to realise I need hay, and so any help that we can get. And also as well, it wouldn't have been, so from what I can make out, the dairy had 5 full-time workers and then another 5 part-time workers for like harvest, and obviously for like drilling and busy periods basically. The only thing that I did sort of miscalculate was the number of tractors. So I tried to recreate on the farms, both farms, the tractors that they had, and of course the dairy had 3 John Deere A's, which is what we've got. But what I didn't take into account was the 3rd John Deere hay that we've got on the dairy here has got that corn picker around it. Now in real life, from what I can understand, you could take them off and then use the tractor as the tractor. That's if I've understood it correctly, but in farming sim you can't take it off, and I can't very well have all that corn cutting stuff on the front of the tractor that's rolling or dragging, can I? So unfortunately it made me a tractor down, but it's no big problem really. As I say, I just put the farm all on it. And the other thing as well, in the gap where I sort of didn't record for a little bit, just because I got the memory message up again, and so I'd sort of stop recording for a little bit just so that I could get further across the field. I haven't done that much, to be fair, until I've sort of turned the record back on. But I had to go and fetch some more seed because I thought I had more seed in the shed than what I actually did. So I've gone and fetched some more seed. Hopefully there'll be enough, because I really don't want to make another trip to the store. It's a blooming long way on these little tractors. So yeah, so hopefully we haven't got to make another trip. But yeah, as I say, the day is rapidly passing us by, and as I say, I don't think we're even halfway through the field yet. But we're getting there. We're doing all right. All told, we're doing all right. As I say, we're using more seed now per breed because we're currently now doing the full length of the field, and I'm noticing that I'm sort of doing maybe sort of between 2 and 4 rounds less now than what I was a little while ago. So that's going to rapidly eat my seed, because one seed bag fills is one fill to this drill. So it's gonna rapidly go through my 7 bags that I've got. But so I do fear that another trip to the store is in the offing, but we'll have to wait and see on that. And one thing that I did want to talk about in this video was some of the comments that I've been getting from you guys that are obviously watching the videos and enjoying the series. I'm getting lots and lots and lots of positive comments from everyone. And the one thing that has really sort of kind of struck me over the last sort of few days to the weekend that's just gone is people have started sharing their experiences and their memories and their what their family farms have been like, and I think that's really great. And I'd kind of just like to extend that out to everyone who thinks that they may have a story or they've got memories that they want to share. I love it because it's a two-way thing. When you guys start sharing stuff with me, it's a two-way thing, because I I record these videos, and it's really hard for me to kind of sit here and imagine people watching my videos. I mean, obviously I know people do, because I get likes, comments, and sort of 333 I think subscribers I've got at the minute, or 32, something like that. Subscribers that I've got at the moment. So I know people are watching the videos, and from the comments that I'm getting, people are watching the videos, and to actually start to read your experiences, like I say, and your memories, and what goes on sort of in your lives, or on your family's farms or whatever, is really interesting to me. I love that, because it makes you guys real. It's kind of like, I don't know, it's a bit odd. It's when you start to, as I say, tell your things, that it makes you all real. And the more stories that you can share, the better. I've had lots of people. I've had one person comment about what those cages actually were for. Now I got it, I think, a little bit wrong in the beginning, because from what I understood, they were used for storing grain, because they had a lid on. They were storing the sheaves of grain until the thresher came onto the farm to thresh the wheat. But it was basically put in cages to keep them dry. But someone through one of the comments, and one of the viewers telling me that it's actually used for storing corn and corn stalks, and then you just take them out as and when you want to shell them, which is again, as I say, really interesting, and it sort of puts it right for me, which is really, really good. So yeah, I'm really enjoying reading what you guys are thinking, and enjoying your experiences and your memories. So please do share. The more the better. I know over the last few days of recording this, I've not replied to the comments straight away like I normally do. I've had a few little bits and pieces going on that's just sort of kept me away from my computer for a little bit, but also as well, like the recording schedule to make sure that all the videos go out every day on the correct days has just meant that I've just kind of been buried recording videos, and then having to upload them all because obviously of the memory issue that I've got. So if you have commented and I haven't replied, I've missed one, comment again, because I will get you this time around, because I'm all caught up now. So and the things that were making life a bit hectic and a bit busy and everything have kind of passed again, so I should be available and able to reply quickly. Anyway, I am rabbiting on way too much, and I do get terribly afraid that when I'm talking, people are going, "Oh, it's him, he's talking, I'm turning off. Bye for now." But and I'm sure you're not. But one thing I've sort of kind of wanted to do, and I've refrained from doing it, but I got a comment the other day saying that I should share some farm stories from when I worked on the farm. I did share one at the beginning with drilling about leaving the what I call the trapdoor open, and as I was filling the drill up, it was emptying all over the floor in the yard. But if you'd like to, hear some, farming stories and life stories, and just sort of funny things in general that kind of go on with my life, then again, let me know in the comments, and if it is something that you're interested in and is something that you want to do, I'm more than happy to share. If it's not, and you like, sort of what we're doing at the moment, comment that, and we'll just carry on doing as we're doing. But anyway, I've just had another memory warning, so thank you ever so much for watching this episode. I've really enjoyed having your company, and I really hope I see you again next time. Bye for now.